Okay, everyone. So today is our second class on education and psychology. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's directly jump to the context. Okay, so theories of learning in education and psychology. Today we'll be talking about that and exploring key concepts and applications. That means we will be exploring some concepts. We will be exploring some concepts and its applications by today's class. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Introduction to learning theories. Everyone, please listen to me very carefully and if possible, take notes. It would really be appreciated if you take notes, everyone, and it's for everyone, those who are basically watching only. Okay, so introduction to learning theories. First of all, definition of learning. As the previous class, we already have talked about that, but in today's class, we will be talking elaboratively, in brief. That means, okay, so definition of learning by Hilgard 1958 is saying a relatively permanent change in behavior due to experience. So, what is learning? Learning is something which change our behavior, and the change should be permanent. That's right, permanent. So any contemporary change should not and cannot be described as learning.
Yes, sir.
For example, if we learn how to drive cars in the street at Dhaka City, well, the learning should be a permanent change. That means we learn to drive at a certain speed. Suppose the speed is not more than 50 for small vehicles, and for heavy vehicles that is not more than 40. But do we implicate that in all street, or can we implicate that in all purpose, in all manner? No. That means that's not learning. But in cantonment area Dhaka, as you can see, a strict prohibition of speed limit is occurred there.
Yes.
So basically, inside the cantonment, we drive much carefully than outside the cantonment.
Yes.
So basically, by this definition of learning, that's not a learning, because we are abiding by the rules only within a certain context, within a certain place, within a certain stage, which name is cantonment. But that's not learning. The learning should be, that's why basically in Dhaka City, we do not know how to drive, we do not know how to drive a car inevitably within the rules and regulations. Basically, we do not abide by the rules. Yes, sir?
Sir, I think we actually know how to drive.
Well,
and we are also know that
We
in
do
the
know
ca-
that.
we
Yeah,
do
that's right.
know that in cantonment areas we should abide by the rules, and otherwise we will be punished. So we know, and that's why we are doing this.
well, he is basically trying to explain another theory, which is punishment and reinforcement theory.
Exactly.
We'll talk about later, behaviorism theory.
Skinner.
Okay, so, but in the plain concept of learning, we learn to change our behavior permanently. Let's say we have learned in this class, you do not have to take any permission to enter the class or to get out of the class. So we all learn that, and we do not violate that rule. That means we already have learned. We can write. So we learned writing. We can speak in Bengali and English also. So we have learned. We can speak in English at every time, no matter the context, no matter the place. But we do not do that. That's another issue. That's nothing to go with learning. But learning is something which will change. Basically, change is a key concept here, that learning make you changed. In order to learn, you have to change yourself, your behavior, your prior knowledge. Suppose in Bangladesh, we all see the cars which is right driven maybe. In Bangladesh, we can see the cars which is right driven, but in America, United States of America, they all drive the car the left-handed.
Yes.
So we have to learn that thing. Okay, in this street, I have to drive the left-handed. So that's a learning, because that basically change my behavior in a permanent way. So something which is not permanent is not learning. As simple as that. You can take a note.
Yes.
Something which is not permanent is not learning. Learning is a permanent thing. That's why some of our elderlies have said that in order to change, you have to learn. In order to become a good man, in order to become a prosperous man, you have to learn, because learning can change us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what have I said? Can you repeat?
Something which is not permanent is not learning.
Yes. So a learning should be a permanent change. Something which is not permanent, change. Within bracket, you have to write change. Okay. So learning should be permanent. We all know the tables. 2 tables, 3 tables. 2 twos are 2, 2 fours are 8. We all know that. In Bengali, we call that namota. So that's learning, because we can never forget those. So basically, we are talking about theories of learning, and learning should be always change and in a permanent way, not temporary. Is it temporary? No, that's right. Okay, so Tilgan, 1958. Yes, sir.
Sir, you have given the example that in your class,
Yes, sir.
students doesn't have to require
To take any permission to go out or
permission
go inside. Yes, sir.
Come in or come outside. But there might be some teachers.
Well, that's why I've said it is applicable only for my class, not for the whole class, not for the whole institution. I'm just talking about these 60 minutes, just for my class. But I do not take responsibilities for another class. That's right. And phone should be in the silent mode. That also. Okay, so let's talk about that. Importance of understanding learning theories in educational psychology. So there are some theories. We'll be talking about some later slides. So important, those are really important to understand why a person can learn, why we should learn. There's a difference between can and should, and the understanding of learning theories, because if we can crack those theories, if we can understand those theories wholeheartedly, we can understand why we can learn and why we cannot, why we fail to learn. In some occurrences, in some issues, we basically try to learn, but we can never learn that. For some of us, maybe that could be math, some of us could be physics, some of us could be chemistry, or any other subject, or any language maybe. Some of us could be English, some of us could be German, any language that we are trying, but we can never learn. We have not been able to learn that. So, why is that happening? By introducing some learning theories, by studying some learning theories, we will understand that. Okay, so how these theories shape teaching and learning practices. Well, that basically the theories shapes the learning theories and the teaching theories also. Basically those are applicable for not only for the learners, but the teachers also.
Yes.
How I deliver my lecture, how I take the class is also responsible within these theories. Is that clear?
Yes.
That's good. So there's an example, a teacher applying different learning theories to improve classroom engagement. How? And student outcomes. So there are two things. Classroom engagement. Now we are having a great class. See, all of us are at least pretending to giving his or her 100% of attention. So basically, classroom engagement. We are engaging, we are basically talking, we are participating to the class. Some of us may have been asking some questions and I were giving you the answers. So basically our classroom, we can say, is very much of an engaged class, a participatory class, a great class. See,
Yes.
only my sound
Undoubtedly.
is audible, but none of you are making any sound. That's really great. So, and student outcomes. So basically that's classroom engagement. But what is the outcome? The outcomes are, I am having some questions from you. Basically, one more important thing, the questions are the first step towards your journey for the knowledge. If you do not have any question, then you could not have occurred or acquired any knowledge. You need to have some questions, you have to have some questions, you need to have some questions, you have to have some questions in order to understand the knowledge of anything. See, we already had some questions and maybe we will have also some questions further. So that's the example of classroom engagement and student outcomes. Basically, this classroom is being conducted by myself, Mohaiminul, and I am applying some theories to do all of these things. Now it's understandable. Am I right?
Yes.
Great. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So we already know some of the theories and some of where we should not know. Please take a note of it. Everyone, we do not have much time. Do it quickly. So basically these theories we'll talk about for today and for midterm exams also. Behaviorism, we already know something about that, please. Cognitivism, we already know, we already talked about that, yes sir? Oh yes, sorry. So cognitivism, we already know something about that, please. And constructivism, we already talked about that, at least something. Humanism, that's a new concept, we'll be talking about that today, inshallah. And then social learning theory, well, comparatively new thing. Please do it fast. See, there's a psychology behind your writing also. Do you know why I'm making you write? Because if you write, then at least some neurons within your brain cells will work on that. At least you are writing, that means you are reading it, you are basically watching it first, then within the mind you are reading it silently, and then you are making it a writing. That means three-dimensional work already have been done within just less than 60 seconds maybe. See, maybe 90% of you have done writing. Okay, see, everything.
Yes.
Back of our mind, there's always been something. Okay, so behaviorism, let's talk about that. Learning as a result of conditioning. That's the main important thing. Behaviorism, the definition of behaviorism, you can write that also. Learning as a result. Learning is a result of conditioning. Learning is a result of conditioning. Okay, types of conditioning. We'll talk about that. Classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. Classical conditioning has been introduced by Ivan Pavlov, and operant conditioning has been introduced by B.F. Skinner.
Sir.
Okay, yes sir.
What is conditioning?
Well, we'll talk about that. What is conditioning? Just see the slide, please. Okay, so type of conditioning. Result of a conditioning. Conditioning means a condition, a scenario, a context, a situation. Whichever word you like, I do not have any problem. But just understand, conditioning could be a context, a result, a situation. Okay. So, classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. Well, classical conditioning, how that works, stimulus precedes the behavior. Stimulus, what does that mean? Stimulus. Stimulus is something that occurs, that is basically our prior knowledge. You can write it, prior knowledge. Stimulus is well, it's not the whole, it's not the exact meaning of stimulus, but contextual meaning could be. Stimulus, in that sense, is our prior knowledge. Stimulus precedes the behavior, classical conditioning. That means we have something within our mind priorly that basically pushes us, that basically helps us, that basically shapes us to do one thing in such a conditioning, that means in such a manner. Let me give you an example. Stimulus precedes the behavior. That means stimulus comes first, then the behavior comes. Okay. For example, if a student once got failed at the fourth standard, in math. So he got failed in fourth standard in math class. So, but for the rest of his or her life, he or she will be afraid of math because he failed or she failed at the math. So, at the class 9, he or she takes the humanities or the business studies, probably humanities, because there is a prior knowledge within his mind or her mind that, okay, I got failed at the math, so maybe that's why the reason, the logic, that's why maybe I'm not good at math, so I should not take the science. That means there's a stimulus and then the behavior, and the stimulus is he got failed or she got failed at the class 4 in the subject of math, then the behavior is he or she does not take the science as in the secondary school certificates exam. So that means stimulus precedes the behavior. There's a stimulus first, then the behavior comes. Just opposite, the operant conditioning by B.F. Skinner, behavior precedes the stimulus. Okay, if we can say, just suppose, we are saying, okay, for this class, maybe she is thinking within her mind, hey, I think I should not talk in the class. Even if I have some questions, I should not talk. And let's talk, and he will be encouraged, then he will give us good marks. The behavior comes first. Okay, the behavior comes first. She is thinking that sir may be get annoyed by the sound, so I should not make any sounds. So in that case, sir will be giving me some extra marks, maybe. The stimulus. Stimulus means the main concept, the main operation. That's right, the main operation, the main concept, the main context. Okay. The behavior is basically within myself, and the stimulus is basically, in Bengali we can say the ghotona, the context, the story. See, so in the operant conditioning we can say this one. Using positive reinforcement in the classroom, like rewarding students with praise or points for good behaviors, that basically operant conditioning. Operant conditioning means I will give you that, but there's a condition. If you do that, I will be giving you that. That's basically operant conditioning. If you stay calm, if you remain silent in the class, if you do not make any noise, then I'll be giving you rewards. That's the operant conditioning. That means the behavior. The behavior of your, okay, I'll be doing no sounds now. Or in vice versa, oh well, I'll be doing much sound now, so that maybe some teacher could encourage that. Maybe some teacher could encourage that. Then, wait, please, why are you all staring at me? Come on, let's make some noise. Come on, participate in the class. Do not just remain silent, just like some dolls. Come on. So, at that behavior, the teacher is basically asking for your response. And that's why the behavior should be responsive. That means making noise, making chaos, or anything. So the behavior comes first in the operant conditioning. That means behaviors from you, and the stimulus may be the result. The result, the behavior basically shaping the result. In simple way, the behavior shaping the result. Just like this example, if you stay calm at my class, do not make any noise, do not move your head here and there, just look at me, just like dolls who cannot speak, then I'll be giving you the result or the stimulus. Stimulus to be result. And in the classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov, stimulus, that means the result precedes the behavior. Just like the result where I have failed at class 4, then my behavior is shaped in that way that I believe I'm not good at math, so I should not take science as a subject for the metric examination. That's right. Okay, so these are the some references. Please I would suggest read those Skinner's, P.S. Skinner's 1954, Science and Human Behavior. I'll be giving this slide to you, no problem. Okay, so let's talk about cognitivism. So key figures. Jean Piaget and Jaime Bernard, that's not important, Jaime Bernard, but the Piaget is important. The cognitivism basically, Piaget is the founder of cognitivism. Okay, so key concept, let's focus on that. What is cognitivism? How that works. Okay, cognitivism focuses on mental process. Cognitivism means basically the brain. Cognitive load, that means your brain load. Cognition, we all know that.
Yes.
The code, the brain. Am I right? That's right. So, focuses on mental process, that's important. Memory, problem solving, and decision making. Basically, they are all directing us towards the meaning of logical reasoning. Am I correct? Basically, all of these are the synonym of logical reasoning. We have to be logical. We have to use our brain. That means cognition. That means cognitivism. Okay, so basically they're focusing on mental process, the brain process, in other words. And okay, schema theory. Schema is one of the most important things. You have to take the note. Schema theory by Piaget. Mental structures can organize and interpret information. Schema is important. So let me give you the example. Schema means the prior knowledge. You can say schema means
knowledge.
Let's give an example. The prior knowledge to this class is we have set some ground rules that nobody should make a noise. Anybody can talk but without making any noise. We already talked about that. So that's basically prior knowledge. And knowledge which set in our mind priorly to this context we are having now. So schema means prior knowledge. So that's why in this class you all are not talking, at least not making any noise. Maybe you are talking, maybe you are doing some your job, no problem with it. Maybe you are not focusing on this lecture. I do not have any problem on that also, because yes sir.
In that case, stimulus shaping our behavior.
Well, it's not behaviorism theory. We
Yes, sir.
will leave. Well, you can say that, but we should not say that. You can say that, but you should not say that, because leave the things as it is. Do not blend, do not mixture, do not get love with oversimplified version. Please do not do that. Overly simplified versions do not work. Okay? Just leave the thing as it is. Not only for this lecture, not only for this education, in your life also. Leave the things as it is. We are not someone called Mohaiminul. We can never change some things. We can never change a society. So, leave the things as it is. Do not disturb this universe. Do not disturb anyone. Do not disturb anything, any organization or any person.
We are as we are.
We are as we are. They are as they are. Just leave them as it is. Just leave those things as they are. Okay, so the schema basically means prior knowledge. Another example. So basically, that's why you guys are. I do not know whether you guys are attentive or not, but you guys are surely silent.
Yes.
We are all silent in this class because of our schema, aka our prior knowledge. So, another example, in cantonment, we know that if we exceed our speed limit, then the fine should occur. That's why basically we drive very much carefully. That's basically our prior knowledge. But in the road, we know that, well, we can always bypass those police. We always know that, but we can never bypass those MP, those army, military police. Those are basically traffic, the traffic police from cantonment. That's basically our prior knowledge. That's basically our schema. That's why we do that intentionally. Okay, even if you know, schema basically work on that manner also, that even if you are going to that place for the very first time, still you will not violating the rules, because you know why? Because you can see everyone is doing a certain thing in a certain way. So maybe your mind, if you are clever enough, if you are intelligent enough, if you are mature enough, then your mind will be thinking, hey, no one is doing that. That means that is odd. That means I should not do that also, without even having the prior knowledge. See, that's how schema theory works. Okay, there's example using concept maps to help students organize and retain information. Well, concept maps means, before giving a lecture, well, this example does not vary in this class. I mean, that does not understandable in this class, or that does not prior to this class. Rather, that's applicable for other courses. See, for example, if I want to teach you, if I want to teach you the Bidrohi from Qazi Nazrul Islam, then I have to do some groundwork, and then I have to by some warm-up activities. I should make you warmed up. Okay, so before just telling or just starting the slideshow, I would rather say, hey, do you know when the Bidrohi poem was written? In which condition Qazi Nazrul Islam has written that? Okay, do you know something about Qazi Nazrul Islam's autobiography? Do you know when he joined the folk song team? Do you know that? So basically, I am giving you the schema, the prior knowledge, so that the Bidrohi poem could be understandable easily by us. So basically making students are warmed up. Basically those are the examples of warm-up activity. So the references, I want you to read these also. The Piaget 1970, The Science and Education, The Psychology of the Child. These are really great books. I have taken these slides basically from these books. Okay. So the constructivism, the new theory, let's talk about that. Vygotsky's theory, constructivism. Yeah, Piaget had worked on that, but Vygotsky is the main founding father of this constructivism theory. Constructivism, well, these names, everyone, these names are basically quite a bit self-explanatory. Am I right? Because constructivism, by using this name, we can say they are maybe constructing something. They are maybe making something. Am I right? So constructivism means making, construction, the building construction. We all know that.
Yes.
Is there anyone who doesn't know the construction of building? I do not think there is anyone. Okay, so the constructivism, learners actively construct their own understanding. See, basically, this is a learner-centric concept. It's not the teachers who will be construct your behavior for you guys. Rather, you will construct it for your own sake, for your own purpose, by your own understanding. That's right. So, there's social constructivism basically by Vygotsky. Constructivism basically the subgenre of the, social constructivism basically is the subgenre of constructivism which is done by Vygotsky. So social constructivism is one of the most important thing for your for this slide and for the midterm also. So learning occurs through social interaction. Learning occurs through social interaction. Well, it's quite self-explanatory. We all learn from our society. We all learn from our father, mother. Basically, family is the core concept of society.
Yeah.
Family is the core concept of society. That means for a child, the first teacher is his or her mother or father, or grandfather or grandmother. So in that way, we can say social constructivism starts from the early age of our children. For example, see, a family consists of father and a mother and only one child. Lives in Dhaka. Father earns by pulling rickshaw, and mother is a government worker.
Yeah.
Mother is a government worker. So the boy or the girl at that family will learn from her father and her mother, and the father, who is a rickshaw puller, and the mother, who is a garment worker, will teach that girl in their own learning. Okay, under the light of their own learning, the rickshaw puller father and the garment worker mother. But same scenario, a father who is a university teacher maybe, or maybe a government service holder, and a mother is a doctor. So, can you differentiate between those two girls, between those two family girls, without having the consideration of economy? Just forget about those economy. The learning. See, think about the learning. What will that girl, that baby girl, will learn from her father and mother, who is pulling the rickshaw and working in a garment, and what will be the learning from the father and mother for that little baby girl whose father is a government service holder and whose mother is a doctor? Can you see some differences between those? Well, I can see some huge differences.
Yes.
First of all, the language.
Exactly.
First of all, the language.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not talking about the dialect. Maybe the doctor mother is from Barishal, and maybe the government service holder father from Chittagong. I'm not talking about the dialect. I'm not talking about the economy. I'm just talking about the vocabularies.
Exactly.
The vocabularies the doctor mother knows, the girl will know it innately. Innately means automatically. Automatically. Because she is unconsciously hearing her mother saying that, okay, give that patient an injection. So
Okay.
the girl knows something about injection,
Yes.
at least.
Yes.
Which that rickshaw puller's girl could not be heard of, very long time. So that's how constructivism, aka social constructivism, work. So we learn from our society, and society basically starts within the family, within the learning, within the social stage, social status of our father and mother. Basically starts from that. And then our school, our college, our universities shape us. That's another issue. But the core concept is family. The core society we had, all of us had, is our family. So our father's learning, our mother's learning, our father's social acceptance, our father's social rank, social stage, basically shape our behavior and language and learning and everything. Am I correct?
Right.
Great. Okay, so basically the example, the group projects where students collaborate and learn from each other, basically they are saying it in the college level or in the school level, but we are saying it in the family level. So I think we already understood that how constructivism works, how constructed a behavior could be. So, the social constructivism,
Learning automatically from the context.
from the society. From the society context, we are in here in a context, but
Yes.
our society basically differentiates others, us, and others also. Okay, it's constructivism based. Zone of proximal development, ZPD, the range of tasks learners can perform with guidance. See, that's what it's talking about. A rickshaw puller father can never be as competent as a government service holder father, because the range of tasks learners can perform, that means at least one person should give the task to the learners. So a rickshaw puller father can give a very minimum range of tasks to that boy or to that girl, but a government service holder father and a doctor mother can give them enormous kinds of
Exposure.
Exactly, exposures and guidance. Basically, they can guide, they can challenge.
Yes.
We all know that. So the reference Vygotsky LS 1978, Mind in Society. See, that's very important. I would really suggest you please read that book, because then you can know why we cannot learn English, why we cannot learn math, why my situation today, where I'm standing at, just like that. It's not my fault 100%. Obviously, that's my fault to some extent, but it's not my fault 100%. It basically fated from the very beginning of our birth. It's basically fated. But there are some person who work really hard and change their fate. They're extraordinary. They're really extraordinary. We should salute them. So see, please read that book. Humanism. That's a new concept for today's class, maybe. Okay, so Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. Maslow is the main character here, and Rogers also. Basically, we can say 50-50. No problem. Okay, please. Can anyone go to the class and say, we are taking a class here, do not talk? Hey, Manos, hey! Hey, not that class.
Sir, someone is making
Oh,
sound outside of
Manos.
the
Okay, no problem.
class. Take a sound.
Okay. Now the sound is over. Okay, please, bear with me. Humanism, Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. So, key concepts. Emphasis on the whole person and self-actualization. Please write that down. Please, everyone, write that down. Emphasis on the whole person, underline the whole person, and self-actualization, underline self-actualization. Right, come on. First writing is a skill. We should be skillful, come on. That's why we are here. So in humanism theory, we do not think a person fragmentedly. That means we do not consider a person, okay, you do that, that means you are here. You do that, that means you are staged in that position of a society. We do not do that. In humanism, basically, we see a human being as a whole component, not those fragments. We can see that, okay, he's doing it, but there's a reason behind it. He has some sorrows, he has some happiness maybe, he or she, I'm not gender biased. Okay, he or she. So, he or she can have some problems maybe. Well, the student is not giving the proper attention I need to this lecture. Well, that might not be his problem. Maybe he hasn't done his breakfast yet.
Yeah.
As I. Okay, I did not have my breakfast today. So maybe there's a problem. So in humanism, we explore, we celebrate humanity. Humanity means we consider a person as a human being. Maybe a student is sleeping at the back bench. Who knows, maybe yesterday night he or she was in Dhaka Medical and donating the blood to his ill father or ill mother or his friend's father. Who knows?
Yes.
Or his friend's pregnant sister. Who knows? So basically humanism teaches us to not differentiate between human beings, to not think human beings as a component, as a cluster. Rather, we should think a human being as a whole. So in order, well, you can ask, so how this is relevant to the educational purpose?
Exactly.
So in order to teach students, you have to consider your students as human beings. So if you consider your students as a human being, so you will make them learn in that way. You will create some course materials. You can create some practice lessons, practice sheet in that way. So their whole humanism could be reflected on that particular sheet of exercise. Is that clear?
No,
Everyone?
sir, not yet.
Well, we'll be talking about later also.
Okay.
It's not something that you will be cleared from here, but the more we read this, and this book also, Maslow Age, 1943, A Theory of Human Motivation, psychological review, the more we learn. It's not something that we can learn within the seconds. Rather, it's something that we should practice. Rather, it could be practiced. Okay, so in order to learn this theory, we have to practice, we have to keep that in our mind. We should take a person, we should take a learner, a teacher, a learning process as a whole. Humanistic approach. Well. Rabindranath Tagore basically worked on that immensely. We'll talk about that later also. So if it's not the whole person and self-actualization and whole person. We already talked about that. Okay, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Basic needs must be met before learning can occur. See, as I've said, you are in the class,
nice.
but you do not have, you have an empty stomach. You have an empty stomach, you have not slept yesterday night because maybe you have Prime Minister's duty. Maybe, no really,
Yes.
some of us could have that. Maybe we have some emergency duty. Maybe we have to go to donate blood. Maybe we work on KFC. Maybe we delivered food from Food Panda. Maybe I watched Netflix movies the whole night yesterday. There could be anything. There could be our duty, there could be our family duty, there could be our personal duty, there could be our, or maybe I drive a car yesterday night with my friends to go to Mawakar to have Ilsha. Anything could be occur. Okay? So, basic needs must be met before learning can occur. That means if you have any empty stomach, if you have your family problems, if you have your personal problems, if you got divorced, if you are not getting married, if you do not have food for you, if your parents are facing some problems, maybe economic, maybe social, then how could I expect from you that you can learn my lectures and hear my lectures 100% attentively? See, this is how humanism works. And now we can say we at least learned something about humanism and how this is important in order to learn and make someone's learn. Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. No. Okay, examples, creating a safe and supportive classroom environment, foster learning. Well, that's the basic thing. We have already understood the advanced things also. That's the basic thing. Create a safe and supportive classroom. Yeah, our classroom is very safe and supportive. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, social learning theory. Basically, that's the core concept of the constructivism, also social constructivism, social learning theory. We learn from societies. Okay, so there's example using role models and demonstrating desire and behaviors in a classroom. Learning through the observation and modeling. That means you learn through the observation. You observe your class teacher. You make your observations basically by looking at your lecturers, okay, your teachers. So that's why basically I'm giving you the lectures in such a way that I want you to imitate and observe. I'm not that person you are basically looking at now. I'm a totally different person. You guys could never know that. But I want you to see a certain person as model so that you can say or you can see, hey, sir is watching at that tone, sir is making these things, so I should do that thing. That's how learning works. One of my very close teachers, that's named Muhammad Azam, he's basically the Director General of Bangla Academy now. I learned much from him. The way he talks, the way he walks, the way he attires, that influenced me a lot. Basically, teachers are the influencers of the students. Okay? So, teachers are the models and students should observe and imitate. That means mimicry. That means copying the teachers in the way he or she talks, in the way he or she walks, in the way he or she makes us understand. We should be doing that also. Because we can see this, we can see sir is giving this lecture in that way, so we can talk in that way also. you could have some confidence that if sir can do that in front of us, we can do that also, inshallah. So basically, yeah, we should be confident enough that if sir can do that, we can do that also. Because he's our sir. Sir means he's our lecturer. He's basically our foster.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's, oh, well, that's goes to Cristiano Ronaldo. Do not do that. Okay, no problem with it. So, the role of self-efficacy in learning. The role of self-efficacy in learning, that means we can learn by observing the role we want to become. You observe the role you want to become, then believe me, sooner or later, you will become, at least to some extent you will become. Well, my teacher, Muhammad Azam sir, is the DG, the Director General of Bangla Academy, a full advisor status, but I'm here now lecturing you guys, but he's my teacher. I'm imitating, I have learned many things from him. So he's the Director General of Bangla Academy, and now I'm the lecturer of here, no problem with it. If I cannot get the 100% of my teacher, no problem. I could get at least something from my teacher. So that's how social learning theory works, modeling and observation. So you have to have the eyes of an observer,
Yes.
Please, keen eyes are needed in order to learn effectively.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it. Do not make noise, because if you make noise, then maybe your side partner, your backbencher friend could have that keen eye, and he or she is basically observing 100% thing, and then you are making his observation disrupted. That's right. So do not do that. Okay, so example using role models to demonstrate desired behaviors. Well, that's what we're talking about now. Social learning theory, and now I think we know how social learning theory works. Just modeling and observation. Those are those three important things. Okay, application in the classroom. Combining theories in effective teaching. Example 1, behaviorism for classroom management. Hey, that's the most important thing, but do not write that. I'll be giving it to you, no problem with it. So basically, in the classroom management, or in the classroom, or in the learning process, in the psychology for the whole education, we will not be considering only one behavior or one application. Rather, we will be blending, we'll be mixing, not all, only those which is needed. Not all, only those which is needed. So see some examples. Behaviorism for classroom management. See, we know classroom management for those punishment and reward technique.
Yes.
So behaviorism from classroom management maybe, and constructivism for project-based learning. Constructivism for project-based learning. That's why the English medium schools are basically give many projects as they can, because they believe and they take students from that social class. Basically, students' fathers and mothers are already knowledgeable. They already know everything. So they give them project. They know the student will be going to the home and say and ask his father or mother, okay, help me. Then they will learn from their father and mother. There are two important possibilities. One, they are learning from their father and mother. That's very effective. Number two, they are spending some time with their families. That's really very important nowadays, because nowadays we are busy with our smartphones, with our cell phones, with our internet connection, tab or laptops. So we do not have any time for our family persons, for our fathers and mothers. So this project basically helping them to spend time with their fathers and mothers, that basically strengthen their bonds within the family. See, not always that all things should be one-dimensional, rather it could be various dimensional also. So example 3, social learning theory for peer tutoring. Peer tutoring means, okay, we will make some group work. That's right, we will make some groups, and then from one society, one member came, another society, another context, another member came, then we blend
those ideas.
Then we blend those ideas, that's right. So then we can have those blending of those ideas, and each of them could know about the other society also.
Exactly.
See? Okay, so Criticism and limitations of learning theories. Oh, well, that's an important thing. There are some criticisms and limitations of that learning theories. Also, behaviorism has its overemphasis on external behavior. That's right. Behaviorism basically overemphasis on external behavior. From there, you could have some questions on at least in midterm, or if not in the midterm, then in the finals for sure. So that's an important thing. You should not write that. I will be giving it to you. So behaviorism has its problem with overemphasis on external behaviors. Cognitivism has its problems with limited consideration of emotions. Cognitivism basically consists of limited consideration of emotions. Of that means human emotions. And constructivism basically faces a problem in challenging in large classroom. That means in order to have constructivism implemented within the classroom, we need at best, at most, 15 to 20 students, not more than that. But that's not possible, just like the country in Bangladesh. Okay, for example, a teacher struggling to implement constructivism methods in a diverse classroom. Diverse classroom means a huge classroom, or a classroom where diverse cultural context students are present. Okay, so on JEE 2016, human learning could be a great example for you. Well, the reference books I want you to read. Really, the reference books are in here. I want you, all of you, should read those books, at least from the PDF, from the internet, if you are not been able to buy those books. So emerging theories and trends, we all know that now. There are some emerging trends. Connectivism, now social connections, we know we are in the age of connectivity. So learning in the digital age, connectivism, we can connect here from Dhaka, we can connect to a professor in the Los Angeles, no problem with it. And neuroscience in education, brain-based learning strategies, basically scientists are trying to find out how we learn, and can we learn without having a lecture? Can we learn with some programming within the brain? The scientists are still trying to find those answers. Okay, neuroscience in education is the answer of it. And connectivism is basically, we all know, the internet age, the digital age. Okay, so in conclusion, we all know the key theories in here. We all have done that. And importance of adapting to needs of diverse learners. See, not always we should focus on one theory, rather we have learned all of those theories and we will implement the theories accordingly, not just whimsically. We all know the word meaning, whimsically. Call to action, reflect on own teaching and learning practices. So call to action means we will ask those questions. Well, in which strategy I am basically learning? In which strategy I am basically teaching, in which strategy I am basically comfortable at. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, sir? Okay, so